Welcome back to Bubba's Secret Garden. It's June 21st, and me and baby Bubba Bumblebee are going to pollinate some pumpkins today. I'm Big Bubba Bumblebee, and this is baby Bubba Bumblebee. What do bumblebees do? Very good. Now, if you choose to accept the mission, because Bubba's got a bad case of OLD, going to be 53 this year, and we got to pollinate 6 pumpkin plants, a squash, 2 watermelons, 8 or 9 tomatoes. So I need help. I brought in the recruits. So if you choose to accept the mission there, baby Bubba Bumblebee, today we're going to pollinate Tiny. Here we go. You ready? Okay, off to the kitten cave. Run, baby, run. Fly, baby Bumblebee. Welcome back to Worldwide Giant Growers, video 5. I had a few requests for a more serious tutorial video, so here you go, folks. Here I am. Just kidding. We'll get rid of the costume there. What we got going here today, people, is pollinating pumpkins, the most exciting part of the season for me. Today is June 22nd. Yesterday morning, I pollinated Tiny, the 1317 Clements, and also the day before, in Kin Cave 2, I pollinated the 1067 Kent. Let me grab my glasses. I'm a little sensitive to the sun here. We're out here, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. So we've got 2 great pollinations going on big plants. Both plants are 15 to 17 feet long. They're 24 foot wide with side runners. Mike, show them this big, beautiful, green, healthy plant. This plant is gorgeous. I must say that the Advanced Nutrients products are better than I thought they were. I mean, I knew they were good products, but I wasn't sure how great. And I'm finding out by how beautiful these plants are compared to my last year plants. Last year I wasn't using the products often enough, and I also did not have the Piranha or Tarantula in place yet. So I'm using them this year for the first time. But these products are great. A couple weeks ago I found out that my nitrogen was a tad low, so I started doing foliar sprays with the B52, F1s, a little bit of Wet Betty, and I also used a little bit of Overdrive. I did a soil test, found out that my phosphorus was a pinch low. So I used the Overdrive along with the B52, and I did foliar sprays in the evening. I did that for about a week or so and brought my nitrogen level back up. And if you look at these green healthy leaves, you'll see that. But with the pollinations here, let me show you this pumpkin down here. I want to show you how I position the vines. What we do is when it's growing out, the vines are growing along straight, and then all of a sudden, right here, you see the vines coming down here perfectly straight. And I knew that my fruit would be forming soon, so I started to curve the vine. And I curved the vine out because when your fruit eventually gets there, you want your fruit so that it will set 90 degrees from the vine. You can't have your fruit growing up on top of that vine. So immediately you stick some sticks in the ground. I even placed a stick to position that leaf away from the fruit. I don't want that leaf stalk rubbing on my fruit and scratching the skin. Eventually that leaf will come off of there. And then I bent this vine right back around so it's almost 90 degrees, and gradually I'll bring this over even more when it's warm out. It's warm right now, the sun's out. If you do too much in the early morning, you could snap your main vine. And we slowly adjust this over. Slowly, everything's done slowly. These things will snap, so be careful. But I'm really excited about this year because I have 2 plants with early pollinations. The 1067 Kent, crossed it with the 2009 Wallace on Friday the 20th, and then Saturday morning, the 21st, Tiny was crossed with the 2009 Wallace. And Tiny, I think we're going to have I have some really great hopes for this season. We're going to really blow last year's numbers away this year. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, we should talk a little bit about disease prevention. So far this year, I've treated this plant once with Agrifos, systemic fungicide, and another time with Decompose. I'm just about ready to treat it again. And for insects, I have treated it a couple of times with Merit. Even inside here, I treated them with Merit in case a cucumber beetle or squash vine borer happens to get in here. They won't do major damage. And all the plants outside have been treated. The But speaking about that, what we do is you skip when you're doing I'll do the Agrifos, the Decanol, and then I'll go back to the Agrifos and then back to the Decanol. You don't want to use the same products over and over. You got to skip them back and forth. I also will later on, as the powdery mildew starts to show up, I will use some Eagle 20. Another critical thing we're doing here is burying vines. If Mike, show them weeds out there. See the weeds back there in the background? Okay, that's not my concern right now. Although I'll tell you one of Bubba's secrets. Bubba told me to do, I don't always listen to Bubba, is I sprayed Roundup on some of those out there. I sprayed Roundup on them so it'll just kill them and kill the seedlings rather than loop-hoe it and turn over more weed seed. Sometimes the Roundup's the way to go. It kills all the seedlings on the surface. Don't disturb the soil. Don't turn over more seed. Just leave it alone. Just make sure the wind ain't blowing. And when you set your sprayer, don't have it set on a spray fan like you're painting a car. Have it set where it's like driplets. It's splattering. That splatter is not going to blow in the breeze like a spray would. A fine spray is going to carry a lot farther than a splatter. So set it on splatter mode. Because the weeds are out there now, because what I'm doing is I'm burying vines. If Mike, you show them these vines down here, I am burying these vines. As soon as they pop up, I'm burying them. Now, I don't bury them super deep. Some guys will actually dig a trench and have them 3 or 4 inches deep. All I do is cover the node up with the dirt, enough dirt to get it rooting, because every leaf stalk will grow a root into the soil. I don't want to bury them real deep because I'm afraid of disease. If I bury these things 4 inches deep under the ground and you can't see any vines, it looks like a bunch of rhubarb growing out here. I got that disease fear because I do live in a high disease pressure area, which I'm relying on the Piranha, the voodoo juice, and the Tarantula to keep my plants healthy, along with my other, mild. Decanol is mild. Agrifos is very mild, systemic. I'm using those to keep the plants healthy. So I wanted to give a lot more information here. I know people are looking for, you new growers are looking for some serious advice on how to grow. Hey, you can always shoot me an email, mark@worldwidegiantgrowers.com, and ask your questions. I don't mind. You're not bothering me. It might take me a day or two to get back, because this time of year I don't always check my email every 2 hours. I might only check it once a day. But I will get back to you. Let's see. Other thing I'd like to discuss here. It's starting to get warm. I'll have to kick my fan on here in a minute. We did pollinating the pumpkins. We do pick a male flower. There's a male flower for you new guys and a female. The female flower has the pumpkin on the bottom. The male flower has a little pistil inside of it. Some of you can probably relate to that, a little pistil. And that little pistil, you pick that male flower. Now in Michigan, the flowers open around 65 degrees. And I was told by Nick Welty back in 2002 that the window starts to close rapidly between 72 and 74 degrees in Michigan. I don't know about other locations. So you want to try to pollinate between 65 and 72. That pollen is ripe. The flowers should be open. We do bag the flowers to keep the bees out. I don't have a lot of bees in this area, so I really don't have a lot to do with that, but I do bag the outside plants. I do bag the flowers so they're not contaminated with other things. You basically take the male flower to the female flower when it opens, rub it on there. You can use a paintbrush, use a Q-tip. Every grain of pollen makes a pumpkin seed. So the more pollen, my theory is more pollen you get in there, the more seeds you're going to have. So if you do grow a giant, you want 800 seeds. You don't want 100 seeds. It's not ideal. Here we go. Here is a female pumpkin. This is tiny, the 1317 Clements. Here's the male flower with the petals stripped off. That's the pistil, right there, covered in pollen. And we take and we rub the pistil on the stigma and reenact if a bee was here. Rub it all around, and there you go. You got to do this when the flower first opens up within a few hours. After that, the window is closed. All right, well, happy pollinating. I want to give away some Nirvana. Nirvana has got kelp meal in it. Kelp meal. It also has alfalfa meal, earthworm castings, humus, seaweed extract, soluble potash, 1%. Nirvana, great product. I've used that this year with these green healthy plants. We're going to give one of these away. The same thing we did last time. I'm going to get one of those number ball machines in future videos so everybody knows we're on the up and up here. I mean, we totally are, but I do have 143 members now. I had the last couple of stragglers get on board last minute. So Mike, if you can pick a number between 1 and 143, somebody's going to win a 1 liter bottle of Nirvana.
123.
123. All right. We'll check. I stole Bubba's list here. Bubba, 123 is Gary Adams. Gary Adams has entered in our Atlantic Giant, Longboard, and Mater contest. 3 contests. So Gary Adams, you just won a Nirvana. I'll get that out in the mail tomorrow to you. Thanks for coming. The only other thing I'd like to ask is, like, you know, WWBD. You know, what would Bubba do? Well, that was some intense pollinating. Time to relax. But just remember, shh, Bubba's secret garden. Keep it a secret, but go tell a friend.